to Overrated.
That's right.
This month we continue a topic. Let's try that again.
Sure, go ahead. That's staying in, by the way.
Why did I get editing power? Welcome to Overrated.
Yes.
We are looking at films about music that are not musicals.
Sure.
I am James Fluty.
I'm Michael J. O'Connor.
And this month we have the sort of, I don't know if it's quite, it was nominated for some Oscars.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's obscure by any means, but certainly didn't receive the fanfare nowadays that you would think, which is Crazy Heart with Jeff Bridges.
Yeah. It's one of, it did get some recognition, but I feel like it kind of was a flash in the pan, and I think that it's Jeff Bridges at one of his most Jeff Bridges performances.
He was pretty much perfect for this role.
Right.
I've
seen this movie quite a few times because it's really up my alley, and it's his performance in this is he's kind of like Nicolas Cage in that he always swings for the fences. Whether that's a hit or a miss is kind of depending on the role.
The film itself.
Yeah, but he nailed it on this. This is great. I love this movie.
Very, very good movie. I mean, really largely made by his performance.
Right.
If you didn't have someone like him in the lead, I think it wouldn't have gotten nearly as much attention. Wouldn't be as memorable.
Right.
But very, very, very fun. The music's great.
Music's so good. Yeah.
It is the era of country that is sort of what our parents probably remember.
Sure.
Because country is, I think a lot of people, the idea of what country is has changed so much.
Definitely.
I was listening to the radio not too long ago, and there was like a drum machine.
Oh yeah.
And then it was a country song. He's just like going down on the tractor. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This is like,
it's ludicrous. It is ludicrous. I will sometimes just kind of scan through the radio channels, if I'm driving around or whatever, just to kind of see what's up. And the country quote unquote country stations are just ear assaults. They're ear beatings, man. That shit is because they're doing this like pop Katy Perry-ish production. But as long as you talk about day drinking, then I think you could have this conversation now. Like you go, oh, you're a musician. Yeah, I play country. Oh, what do you play? MacBook. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, totally.
It is really, I get if you like the music. Like that part, I'm not even going to say that it's bad.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't see how it's country.
Right.
Like, other than having a twangy voice sometimes and having rural imagery,
subject matter.
Nothing really country about it.
Right. I agree. And the Nashville has kind of, so far as I understand it, has gone from, or maybe it always was, the kind of, it's the kind of pop. It's the LA of country, where it's pop music, and if you can make a, like you were saying, kind of rural subject matter, then you're golden. The rules are the same no matter where you're at. Yeah.
There's also something very unsettling to me when I hear millionaires singing about hard times.
No shit.
And missing rent. Yeah. I remember Nickelback, and this is like fourth album. Nickelback had some song that was like that. Although they're not country, it sounded very country-ish, right. And it involved like payments on a pickup truck. It was.
Oh, come on now. Yeah, this is why one of the reasons why I love this movie so much is it really is a, as far as my understanding goes, it really is an accurate portrayal of what it's like to be a working, middle of the road kind of, or rather middling musician or band. Is you're playing bowling alleys, You're playing, terrible bars at noon, and you're doing what you can for $20 because you need that $20.
Yep. You, the amount of things I've noticed, like it reminds me of doing stand up, and the kind of things where it's like you have to go like, hey, could we turn off the TV that's next to me? Can we? And having people actually go like, nah, some of them want to watch the game. Right. And you're just like, why am I here?
but please, can we? Yeah. Right, and it's. It really, I think the way it's shot, the way it's lit, the place he lives, it's all very dank.
I love how gross Jeff Bridges looks through the majority of this film.
It's great.
Sweaty, oily, dirty. And one of the reasons I love that is because so often when you have a character who's an alcoholic, you have a tendency... People have a tendency to films have a tendency, books, to romanticize alcoholism, like it's actually this trait, this very glorious trait of an artist,
right?
And it's not.
No.
It's simply not. No. It's a horrible condition, or disease, whatever you want to call it. It's not a good thing to participate in. So, like seeing him pass out on the floor and vomit and he's gross and chubby. Yeah, I think that was all very intentional and important.
Yeah, it's you look at like I think one of the other films that kind of shows, even though it's more extreme, but it certainly doesn't romanticize it, is Leaving Las Vegas.
What is with you and Nicolas Cage?
I love him, but that's irregardless of that. But Leaving Las Vegas is a similar kind of thing where it's even though that is what the movie's about, it doesn't. It's not pretty.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that one, but I mean, the difference there is that he's going to drink himself to death. Well, like there's the concept that he is doing it to the point where his body shuts down.
Sure.
Whereas with a lot of the writers, it's this sort of like little mini body destruction, but then it's onto the keyboard, the typewriter, and it's. I'm thinking like Bukowski and Hunter S. Thompson and stuff like that. Right. I think more we need to like set up like a beat style book written by an alcoholic who just talks about crapping his pants and like he wakes up the next day and he's so dehydrated that his poo is too hard.
Oh no!
And he's just straining on the just get it and then like he's fat. And his wife leaves, and the wife doesn't leave in some dramatic way. She's just like, "You're gross now. You're just gross."
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
See how well that one does.
Right. I agreed, and this movie has one of my. I was really glad that we picked this because it has one of my favorite scenes and one of my only impressions that I can do. And it's not an impression that I came up with. I've heard it before done, but it's Jeff Bridges when he loses Maggie Gyllenhaal's kid. He's walking around in the mall and he's going, buddy, it's the old skin around here, man. That's it. That's my entire impression. That
was the thing about Jeff Bridges' character in that, and part of the reason why it's so good, is just how unimpressive he can be from one moment to another, and then how impressive he can be from one. Like he really swings. He really shows a lot of vulnerability in a lot of those scenes, like that one.
Right.
Just scary, especially when they do find him.
Right.
And he's trying to act like everything's fine now.
Right.
It's okay. All right, we're good.
Yeah.
It's just the desperation that comes from that scene is really, really good. We're just gonna gloss over the impression. I think we'll just
that's fair.
I don't want to spend too much time on it.
No, that's 100% fair. You're right to say that. Jesus.
Do it one more time.
No, it's all right.
Nah, do it one more time.
Buddy. Okay, that's it.
It sounds like Jeff Bridges after being hit with a 2x4.
Yeah, he's got the wind knocked out of him.
And maybe like his jaw's dislocated slightly.
All right.
This is Jeff Bridges playing Rocky and dating a girl named Buddy.
Bye. Oh man.
Or playing Sloth.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. 10 minutes. 10 minutes is enough on my my bad impression. But you're right in that he does go. He's one of those characters where he's good at one thing. And it really it's perfect at kind of showing, at least in my experience, like what so many musician friends of mine have, or their personality type, that their personal lives are a mess, but goddamn if they're not fantastic at that one thing they do.
Also shows how lonely that lifestyle is.
Yeah.
I remember growing up thinking if thinking about being a comic or being a musician or something like that, like you perform a show and then you got fans and you're hanging out and next day exploring some new city every day, and you spend a lot of time alone in a hotel room.
Yeah.
Like the amount of people I know who talked about celebrating their performance on the Tonight Show with like a drink in one hand and a cigar in their hotel room,
alone,
like by themselves.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Watching it on TV.
Ugh. Yeah, I mean that's just like of a touring performer. It is not being someone. I've done it myself. It's not fun, it's fun, but it's not glamorous at all. And especially kind of the low rent ways I've done it. 9 times out of 10, like I've slept in the bushes behind the place. I've slept in the van behind the place I played. It's not that's the way you have to do it, and you can get these little moments of joy out of it. And I think that Crazy Heart shows those little moments of joy, and you hope for a big payoff, which this movie definitely has a big payoff.
Yeah. But I mean, he also had a very different trajectory where he was really, really popular and then fell out of popularity, and he's trying to eke back in. Right. I think he said he based his performance largely on Waylon Jennings and Chris Christopherson.
Oh, okay.
Which also, there's a Waylon Jennings song in the movie, and it's perfect for it. It's the I Don't Think Hank Did It This Way.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which is just an absolute perfect song to put in the film.
Yeah.
For those of you not familiar with it, go look it up. It's a really cool sort of, I want to say it was like a 70s country song.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really neat one. It's just about the music industry in general. But it was when he was walking backstage too, so it's like him completely out of his element now because he's going to play in an amphitheater. Right.
And that whole era of outlaw country, those guys really embraced that because that was very popular. They were making movies like The Songwriters and stuff like that. Like Willie Nelson was an actor, and they were Robert Duvall was making a movie about it, and which for the life of me, do you know what that movie's called? That Robert Duvall one? Ah, shit.
No, I only read about it during this. I forgot.
Yeah. I haven't seen it myself.
What it was, but yeah, he did. I think he produced or directed. Mm-hmm. No, he just directed The Apostle. I think is his only directing credit. But for the listeners who don't know, you can look up Waylon Jennings. Also, Chris Christopherson.
Yeah,
is a great musician, but you may know him from Blade 1 and 2.
Oh shit.
He helped make the Daywalkers fighting gear.
Yeah, that's right. There always has to be in something like that. Like there has to be like a grizzled old guy that makes the gear. You know, like in Mystery Men with Ben Stiller's Tom Waits makes the.
That was Tom Waits too. Yeah. Like they get these old musicians to play eccentric.
Weird. What a strange trope.
And also, wouldn't you imagine that to be flipped? When you think the dark, grittier movie would have Tom Waits?
You would, then, like, yeah. You would think so.
Would be in a comedy.
Yeah.
I had Chris Christopherson lived a dark, gritty lifestyle too, I guess.
Yeah. Well, he was quite an actor. I mean, he was in all kinds of stuff. You know. I think that. Are you a? Here's a question for you. Are you a Maggie Gyllenhaal fan? What do you think of her as an actress?
I thought she was fine in this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything where I've seen her and just been like, whoa.
Right. Did you ever see Sherry?
Man, that was a really good description.
No, I know what you're saying, though. She's.
I was blown away or really impressed. I mean, she's secretary. Yeah. I remember she was in that one. Mm-hmm. This one. I'm just drawing a blank on a lot of her roles, really.
She's in this pretty good drama called Sherry Baby. She definitely has. I think she was great in this. I really. It's one of the times like I felt that she wasn't. I don't know. I could see the character. She was a character, not just playing herself, and that's probably through no fault of her own that she ends up just playing herself. You know.
I think it would be a hard role,
right?
This one to play it subtly, and I think she did. So yeah, I would think based on this, I would say I'm a Maggie Gyllenhaal fan.
Yeah, there you
go. I think she shows a lot of the conflict, and it doesn't come across as there's Maggie Gyllenhaal trying to show conflict.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes whatever it is, I don't know what it is about Maggie Gyllenhaal, but when I see her, I do have this instant Maggie Gyllenhaal. Like I'm not saying it, I'm going like, oh, the Jake Gyllenhaal sister. I don't know why.
Right.
There's this like she would have, for whatever reason, she has to work twice as hard to get people to forget who she is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, well,
I wonder if that's attractive women in general.
It might be.
It might be.
Yeah.
Like you just kind of have to like remove whatever like. Oh, it's that pretty girl out of your brain and just let them be an artist or something.
Right. You know, that.
Like I think women do that with men, because I certainly like, as much as like there's this idea that women are objectified, which of course they are.
Yeah.
But in films, I've never heard a guy going like, oh, is that new Angelina Jolie movie out? Oh, gotta see that. She's so hot. Never heard that. Never heard even anything remotely like that. I have heard women do the opposite all the time. Yeah. They're just like, like some Brad Pitt. Oh, right. Gotta see it. Brad Pitt's I don't care what it's about.
Right.
I'll just look at him. He's hot. And I'm just wondering, so maybe they also have to sort of separate, and they also don't care to separate them. It's just like eye candy. I'm going for it. Whoever, the guy who plays Thor, I think I've heard Chris that Hemsworth. Conversation. Sure. Yeah, with him.
Right.
Like 800 times, like just like, oh, he's in it. Yeah, if he's shirtless, I'm there.
Well, to be fair,
the Tarzan movie with the dude from True Blood, Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Women were just like, I'll see it. Yeah. He's wearing a loincloth. I'm in. I don't care about Tarzan, but he's half naked.
I will dispute you on this just a little bit, because I only saw Swordfish because Halle Berry was naked in it. There was no other reason for me. I saw it in the theater, and when that scene was over, my friend yelled out, "Rewind it!"
Wow.
I know. Yeah. But I think I was in high school.
All right.
It was like
so. So our listeners know we're both 75-year-old men.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
We have the humor of men who grew up during the Depression.
Yeah.
Rewind it. I've never done it myself. Maybe I would have when I was a little kid. I had a crush on Elvira.
Sure.
I probably would have gone to see an Elvira movie just to see. I watched Mistress of the Dark recently, and I now see why everyone was so uncomfortable with me watching that again and again as a child.
Right.
Her breasts are the main star of that film.
Right, yeah.
And
top bill.
I think in the credits it goes Elvira's breasts and then Elvira. And so like I'm like 8 just watching it and then like just taking it out and watching it again.
Right.
And then just going like, are you sure you want to again with this?
What's James doing? I don't know. Don't go in there. I don't know.
I don't even think I was like old enough for you to have that fear.
Right.
You know, I was just so like attracted to her. Like, I don't think I was even, there must have been something sexual about it, but I wasn't a sexual being yet.
You weren't able to quite understand. It's like
I was just attracted to something. Right. I don't know what it is.
Like in A Christmas Story when like he gets the leg lamp and Ralphie keeps like stroking it for some reason. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I guess I never had that necessarily. Yeah, you don't really. Maybe it's because of the internet. Maybe because there isn't that much male pornography. I mean, there is.
I also think it's also very likely that men just don't voice it.
Yeah, it could be.
That I've never heard it is not a scientific
well, that's true.
Way to come to a scientific conclusion.
That's a good point.
But because, I mean, you know, Hollywood does kind of refuse to cast unattractive women.
Sure.
So, I mean, there might be something to that. Maybe a movie does a lot worse if you were to cast someone based on their talent alone.
Right. God forbid.
Yeah. God forbid all our movies look like they were filmed in England.
The big book of British smiles.
Well, I wasn't trying to say these people were unattractive. I was trying to say that they actually do seem to cast largely based on talent.
Right.
Like you will see all these really talented actors, and they're kind of funny looking, and they're the main actor of a television series, and they're really good.
Right.
And you're just like, but that wouldn't happen, and they would. No, they don't. They're not symmetrical enough.
God,
Move along. Sorry, can't do it.
Isn't it kind of
Catherine Tate's slightly chubby in that first season of the show, so no, can't be on Doctor Who.
It's kind of. Do you ever see someone like who in the wild who is like perfectly proportioned and it looks odd.
It does. It like what I think we forget that these people have been. Picked out. They're genetic freaks who've been picked out and then quite often applied with like hundreds of $1,000s worth of cosmetic surgery and Photoshop and lighting and makeup. So if you were to actually see people who look like that and you're just sort of like oh, that
it's like an uncanny valley. Yeah.
Like this is very attractive, but do you belong here?
Right.
Should you be
right?
Should you be locked away somewhere behind? Like they're a vampire in my brain or something like that. Is the sun going to hurt you?
Where we use your blood for eternal youth. Yeah.
Yeah, the people you do a double take when you see them. And that's not real.
No.
And again, I still contend that if you're going to be very attractive like that, you have to be either an idiot or an asshole.
Sure.
You can't be nice, attractive, and smart. That is rude. It's like sociopathic mean to the rest of the world.
Meanwhile, Chris Pratt's like, oh, come on, though. Like, he seems to have all those qualities.
I don't know I don't think I've ever seen an interview where I thought like, wow, this guy's really smart.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he seems more like really charming, but in a very like country boy kind of. Yeah. Because I remember one of the few interviews I've seen with him, he was like, "Yeah, we used to go shoot varmints for fun."
Right.
So I mean, that's the concept in my head is that he's like, I was on the football team and.
Yeah, it could be.
He's like a character in Jerry Maguire. I just want to play football.
Yeah.
But that's just me in my head. He could be brilliant, and then I would hate him.
Yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. Speaking of,
please, go ahead.
No, please.
Speaking of though, Jeff Bridges would have been that when he was younger.
Yes,
he was talented, attractive, smart, and supposedly a really nice guy.
Yeah.
So, like, when he was younger, I would have wanted to punch him in the face.
He's an odd one, man, because he grew up. His whole family is actors, and is he from L.A.? I would imagine so.
I think so.
Yeah, he probably grew up with that within that world, and from everything I've heard about him and everything I can tell from watching interviews and whatnot, he's just kind of a weird, normal guy. you know?
Well, when I read it, I read some interviews with Jeff Bridges for this, and it really seems like his father, Lloyd Bridges, really instilled the idea that this is just a fun job.
Right.
You know, like you just show up and you do your work and you get to be good at something and it's really fun.
Right.
And not this idea that like what we're doing is really a reflection of society and we have a calling and, you know, none of that nonsense.
Right.
And so he really does seem to come across as like, look how lucky my life is.
Right. He did these great, a little while back. They're promoting some, oh God, what was it? It was some kind of like internet hosting site, you know, where you could, I think it was Squarespace, like one of the, perhaps a future sponsor. So we're not saying anything bad about Squarespace.
If they want that sweet 70 downloads that we got going.
That's all right. That's all right with me. I'll share.
That's 70 new people to sign up.
Yeah.
Now, by the time this goes out, it'll be 5,000.
It'll be thousands, absolutely.
Yeah.
But he was promoting this thing, and he made these sleeping tapes where it was just him. It was
okay, I heard that.
Yeah, it was awesome, and I actually used it quite a few times to go to sleep. It was like flute music and him talking. It was great
about weird shit,
just weird, mystical things. Yeah,
I didn't know that was meant to lull you to sleep. I had no idea what the hell that was. I found it on iTunes.
Yeah, it's something.
It's on iTunes right now.
Yeah.
If you have iTunes, you can go listen to it. Anyone listening, it's the weirdest shit in the world. It's just him with like, I guess it is relaxing music. I didn't even think of it as relaxing. It's fucking weird. So it's like this sort of like stuff in the background, and him going like, walking down the hill, see a dog. That dog's looking up the tree. He's looking up that tree, looking at some oranges, and he's, what the fuck is this?
It's great. He's an oddball, man.
And you're looking at that, buddy.
Just see a little kid around here, man. I just had one margarita, man.
You know, when he's complaining about the lifestyle to his manager,
right,
and he says, driving this amount and for this little, and he says, and with hemorrhoids so bad, it feels like there's fire ants in your crack.
Right.
I think or in your ass. The first thing that popped into my head was, yeah, man, I got a rash. And it was like a minute later before I went, oh, it's the same guy.
Yeah.
It's the same actor. I saw a parallel there.
Yeah, I got a rash, man. That's like, I mean, in a movie, The Big Lebowski, so full of fantastic lines. That's one of my favorites. I got just a Dom Irrera. I got a rash on my ass so big I can't even sit down. But you know me, I can't complain. It's just like what he takes from that is, I got a rash, man.
What's fun about that too is Dom Irrera. That was a joke he did in his stand-up.
Oh, is it?
And so the Coen brothers called him up and said, we want to use that in our movie. And Dom Irrera is like, well, then I got to deliver it.
Yeah.
I got to be the actor. And so that's why he's in there. Because they basically said, we want to use your act, part of your act.
Sure. The great Dom
I guess
Irrera.
they knew a great way to... I wonder if it was based on someone they knew and the guy actually said it or something, because it is a brilliant response.
Totally.
That's the iconic role, really, that Jeff Bridges is probably most known for now, is the dude.
I think so.
And even he references it a bunch in like interviews and stuff like that. He refers to himself as the dude and stuff like that, jokingly.
He understands, like that's what people know him for, that and Tron, but he was quite young. Tron.
Iron Man is now a big one that some people know him for.
Oh, you went away.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, someone called.
Oh, there we go. How dare they? Don't they know?
They did, actually. That was my wife, and she totally did know. She just forgot.
Bullshit.
So, other news, getting a divorce.
Oh, wow. Today.
Yeah. Just decided a second ago.
You heard it here first.
I should probably tell her before this airs. That would be a bad...
No. After. Do it after. Have her listen to it and then walk into the room like, Yeah. He
also, as was mentioned earlier, Robert Duvall.
Yes.
Robert Duvall's in this. And he's fantastic.
Oh, God.
I once heard in an interview with Robert Duvall, it was David Letterman talking to him. And I think this is the perfect description of Robert Duvall's style of acting, is that David Letterman said something along the lines of, like, when they get a really good actor, someone goes like, he played that character really well. But then when Robert Duvall is a character, you think, oh, they just got the real guy. Like, that's just the guy that's there. Yeah. Because he plays so naturally in every role.
He does.
You just feel like that is just some old guy who's in that situation.
Did you ever see Get Low?
No. I wanted to because I love Bill Murray and Robert Duvall, but I haven't yet.
He's so good at being a grizzled old man, and he can go from something like that to I think he's fantastic in Days of Thunder, the NASCAR movie with Tom Cruise. He's really good in that, and I kind of grew up like, my dad loves NASCAR, so I grew up like around that stuff and watching it all the time, and he is one of those fucking guys. It's crazy.
It really, I can't remember what movie it was, but it was a movie that didn't call for Robert Duvall to be in it. It was like Armageddon, or something like that. And he basically, the scene is just him going like, okay, how are we going to solve this? Yeah. And I remember just him delivering that line was just like, it just felt so like he just made that entire scenario seem real. Like suddenly, oh yeah, there's some people and they're going onto an asteroid and they need to blow it up. All this now seems completely real because of the very natural way he just delivered two lines.
It's like, if you were like, we need some kind of suspension of disbelief in here, let's get Robert Duvall in to do all the expositional scenes and everyone will just buy it.
Yeah. It was good. Apparently, not only did that happen, but my grandfather was involved.
Who knew?
And then, also on top of that, Robert Duvall seems like a pretty brilliant guy. He wrote and directed The Apostle.
Yes.
Which was great.
So good.
It was phenomenal. Really, really good. And unless someone ghost wrote it, unless someone was holding his hand during the directing, I mean, he's a very creative guy as well.
Right. So he's smart. He's
thank God
talented. He's so hot. My God, he's so hot. Oh, James. Oh boy, gotta get me some of that.
I don't know. Was he? I'm trying to think of Boo Radley. Was Boo Radley hot? Because he was pretty young as Boo Radley.
Yeah, Boo Radley was pretty hot. Yeah.
I'm not saying in the book. I know you're thinking of the characters. Okay. That's hot. I'm saying. Yeah, silent, not talking, kind of a mythical figure. That's
I love that. That's my
Batman.
That's my fetish.
Basically, Batman.
It's my fetish. Oh man.
Jeff Bridges is a musician in real life.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he played the guitar. He sang in the movie. You can get some music by him on iTunes as well. Yeah. Some live stuff. It's pretty cool.
And it's not dissimilar to the music in this film. I mean, it's kind of got a country-ish.
It definitely has a country vibe to it, yeah.
He's got his own, he's got a record label. He's always been kind of pretty involved in music.
Yeah, even before the film, I heard his cover of At My Back Door.
Right.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was digging it.
Yeah, he's... and yet,
it's hard for me to say... I apologize. Hard for me to say I like any actor's music because I feel like it's going to be like 2 months before it becomes like I'm going to say, Bruce Willis is a pretty good musician. And then it's going to be that video of him.
The return of Bruno.
God. And then I'm on record forever going like, Bruce Willis is a really good. I think he's pretty good.
I don't know. Like, what other actors have, let's say, singing careers? I mean, there's a lot, but
Jared Leto.
Yeah, 30 Seconds to Mars. Keanu Reeves, Dog Star.
Keanu Reeves. Yeah. I want to say there's another Bruce Willis-y kind of actor out there. Oh, Gary Sinise.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Gary Sinise.
I could see that being all right. He seems kind of He seems pretty cool, pretty with it.
I have no idea. I've never heard it.
Yeah.
There is something that I will kind of. Jason Schwartzman.
Oh yeah, Phantom Planet. That's right. That's a good band. Yeah. Jason Schwartzman.
Well, I don't think I've ever heard the band, but he did the theme for Bored to Death, which I remember liking a lot. So
and the OC.
I could imagine. He did the theme for the OC?
That his band did, yeah.
Oh.
Well, there you go. If that's
surprisingly, I know it's going to come. I have not seen the OC.
I love the OC. I love the first season of the OC. But that's my cross to bear.
That might be a generational thing too. You're a little bit younger than me.
Yeah.
Well. So like my thing that I liked that was right at the edge of where I should have known better was Dawson's Creek.
Okay, yeah.
And yours was the OC. You know, like there's right the
about the
like
same.
You're right at that age where you're like, this is great, and then like 14 minutes later you're like, I'm too old. This is good. Nah, I realized the weight of the world has crushed my spirit.
Right. Well, at least it only took you that long to figure it out. Yeah, I think this movie is it's a really good portrayal of like quote unquote life on the road of being a like I said, middling working musician, hardworking, and it's a hard coin, doing that. That's hard kern.
I've never heard that expression.
Hard coin?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like it's not easy to be like a.
I believe you.
Okay.
I wasn't saying I've never heard that. Like I think you're making it up or got it wrong.
Oh no.
I'm saying like, oh, that's a new one.
Oh yeah. And I think it is a pretty accurate kind of portrayal of like the pitfalls of that.
Yeah.
And how you can fall into a certain routine.
That was one of the reasons I stopped doing comedy among many, was that it didn't seem to provide a very happy lifestyle unless you became very successful.
Did you know people?
Not a lot of people do.
Did you know people that fell into it in kind of the same way?
I mean, a little bit.
Yeah.
I remember there was actually this comic who used to come in and he had some funny moments, and it was a lot of very like shock comedy. Mm-hmm. And he would sort of yell into the mic. And I remember a comic leaning over to me and he said, he's got road stink all over him. Ugh. And that was the term, meaning that if you did so many bars, you had a tendency to talk like this, even when you didn't need to. Yeah. You had a microphone in front of you, but you're just so used to performing in front of people who are talking over you. And then also all your jokes are sort of meant to draw people in. Right. But 100% of them are meant to draw people in because you're like constantly fighting for attention the entire time. So none of them have a lot of subtlety or there's not a lot of build up.
Right.
You got to get them quickly. There's a lot of curse words thrown in.
Sure. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. That's hard. Like that sounds like something you don't want to happen.
Yeah, I mean there are other ways to go.
Right.
I think but I think oftentimes those roads are more difficult. Mm-hmm. Like there are comedians that went the theater route. They did storytelling and they did like one-man shows. Right. I think oftentimes, though, you're paying for those theaters. You have to actually rent the space.
Right.
And also, it's a completely different crowd that you're playing for. So if it doesn't happen to fit your comedy, it's difficult to break in.
Right.
So that's probably, in many ways, a healthier way to do it, though. Playing, like, bars where no one gives a crap of what you're saying is a difficult situation to be in.
Right, and then if you're renting out the theater, you're responsible for filling it. It's a much more. There's no audience built in. Isn't that interesting though? That like there is no in between, and it's the same with music. It's the same with so many things. In that you either tailor your act or what you do to these terrible situations, or you create the situations, but you have to create the situation.
Yeah,
there is no in between for most people, and that's how things get weeded out. Whether it's worth its your time to do it or not. That's interesting to me that there is no real middle, which I think is what this movie's about is he is really stuck in that middle ground, where people don't really come to see him anymore. He's just got to be really good.
Well, I think people do come to see him, but it's a very small amount,
right?
And it's these diehard fans from 20 years ago,
right?
Aficionados do not make great. You're not going to build a career off of that.
Sure.
I can't remember who it was, but it stuck with me because I got the same compliment every now and again where this comic was saying like he was sometimes referred to as a comedian's comedian.
Uh-huh.
And he was just like, I hated hearing that because that meant I was the comic that the people who didn't pay wanted to hear.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Right.
And I thought, like, that is a crappy position to be in because you're not really getting an audience of people who are going to build anything, and also the people who come and want to hear you also kind of hate you.
Right.
And don't want you to succeed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Being a musician's musician, I imagine, is very similar. Like the only people who can appreciate what you're doing are people who are this really tiny minority.
Sure.
And they're a really tiny minority that would really rather people listen to their stuff.
I think that's probably true. I do think with the difference between doing music and doing comedy is there's less competition with music.
It's weird because you'd think there'd be more.
You would. Yeah.
Is it because why do you think that? Is there less people pursuing it? Is it just that there's a community not filled with darkened souls?
Partially.
Yeah.
It's not, in general, I think you rely on other people more. You rely on other bands to put you on. You rely on labels. It's more of a group effort. Whereas
there's bands. You literally are up there with other people.
Yeah. And I think that all that stuff is still there. There is still jealousy and whatnot. But I just think it's more communal than stand-up is, which is really like, we'll all put each other up on shows and we'll thank each other on Facebook. Don't get me wrong. But also, I'd prefer if you just went away. It is less competitive in that way, I think. Yeah. But it could be just my own perception of it. I don't know.
I got lost in thought there. I was just thinking of the
I don't know.
Years wondering about that. Like they're when people, honestly, the majority of the time other comics complimented me, I was either found out secondhand.
Right.
Like I remember once someone gave me like a really, really big compliment because I was recording my set and he happened to be standing next to the recording thing.
Oh.
Otherwise, he never would have said that to me. Drunken messages.
Oh, sure.
Like they're an ex-girlfriend, just like, you need to know how good you are, dude.
Boy.
It's like, and or like someone said like, oh yeah, that guy said, you're a really good writer. Like he's never going to tell you that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
And so I was just thinking that, like, this sort of
did I just make you
thing.
go through like every compliment you've ever received and be like, God damn, son of a bitch?
I was like mentally going through that, like, holy shit. Not 100% of it.
Of course not. No. I think it's just less. But here we're in this film. We're also looking at a solo artist. That's a different thing. And I think in that world of like Nashville and of pop country, that is crazy competitive. Now I'm talking about mostly like punk bands where you need that network. If you are in country music, in general, I think
I don't think too many punk bands are actually hoping for the kind of fame that a country artist would be.
Totally.
Yeah. I think the amount of punk bands you can name that have that level of success, you could probably count on just your fingers.
Totally.
There's not a lot. Mm-hmm. There probably is. You're right. That's a very different world.
Must be, yeah. Yeah. Interesting. We've learned a lot about each other and ourselves today.
And we've learned a lot about ourselves.
Yes.
And Jeff Bridges.
Thank God.
And Robert Duvall. And a little bit about Chris Pratt.
Oh man. Well, here's what we can say for 100% sure about Crazy Heart is it's an excellent portrayal of life on the road for a country musician. It's a great character study in trying to have roots and trying to find family where you can find it, and it's 100% overrated. Completely
overrated.
Yeah. Well, I do just want to say we have gotten quite a few downloads since we've started putting our stuff up, and wanted to say thank everyone that listens and comments on the Facebook page and stuff. It's been great.
Thank you very much. I recoil from the internet quite a bit.
Sure.
Like a vampire seeing a cross.
Yeah.
But I thank you very much. I really enjoyed doing this. I hope we can continue doing this. So any kind of support is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. And join us next week, where we will be discussing Sweet and Lowdown with a special guest, I believe.
With an Emmy-winning special guest.
Yes.
So join us.
Yes, absolutely.
I know, that got weird there.
I liked it, though.
Special. Yeah. I also have a drinking problem, is what this really was about. Why we did this film.
This is an intervention.
I've already crapped myself. That was not an example I just pulled out of thin air. Real life.
Oh,
all right, thank you guys very much. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Until then, I'm Michael J. O'Connor.
James Fluty.
It's overrated, son.